Hi, my name is Miliana, a female entrepreneur, passionate about inspiring other females in creating a life they love and sovereignty, while developing businesses with a positive impact. I grew up on a small farm, surrounded by cows, sheep, chickens, dogs, cats, and nature. That's where I learned that a natural, sustainable way is sometimes the best way. I think it is how our modern world can heal itself from the inside out. I strive to do what makes me happy, work with people that inspire, and share some of these moments with you. Hi everyone! Thank you so much for joining me for yet another Fruitful Talk. Today here with me, actually quite far away, not really here physically, but on the internet is Sam. He is a podcaster. He did a TED Talk on soul structure and an entrepreneur. Thank you so much for taking your time to share your story with us, and welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Sam, so your podcast is Autism Rock and Roll, correct?
Close. It's rock. So I was going to have the S's in there because there's another one apparently called Autism Rock and Roll. I looked that up.
So question for you, and I know I introduced you already, but is there anything else you'd like to add for the introduction?
I guess some hobbies of mine are creative writing and enjoying the great outdoors, but I guess I have high functioning autism. It's called Asperger's syndrome. I've had it since I was 4, and that's pretty much a good intro, I think, for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. And we'll go into the questions right away. I will ask you, just like all the other interviewees, is there a life purpose that you feel connected to that has you go through this amazing work that you're doing?
Well, as you said earlier, being yourself, I mean, before we recorded, you said be yourself, and I thought I do that all the time, and I know it was kind of a joke, but all kidding aside, there was truth beyond. I'm out myself 24/7, and that's one, but also I'm trying to take the negative stigma off of autism and to show that people with conditions and other disabilities really don't need to be fixed. There's no need for pettiness as well. There's nothing to be sorry about.
Well, you are absolutely right, and that's one of the reasons why I love having you here, because I feel like you are a really good example of living a perfectly normal life, just the way you are, just like every single one of us. Nobody is perfect. Nobody has it all, and thank you for demonstrating that. Okay, and you clearly are running multiple projects. One of them is the podcast we just mentioned. And is there any other projects, and how do you feel that is connected to your purpose?
I definitely motivational speaking. It goes with, because I have a story to share in my personal opinion, so that definitely goes with them speaking, but it's more of an in-person, not audio issue, I guess is the way to put it. Also, I do sell merch. I sell socks, t-shirts, different sorts of merchandise, if anyone's interested. I also offer sponsorships during the sell merchandise and ad space.
And how did you get started? Did you have any education, any background that could help you with this? Where's this idea coming from?
A little bit. It started after I joined my high school's media club, and ever since I joined the club, I fell in love with the podcasting, so I continued it, but I realized I can't be a senior in high school forever down the road. So the only way to continue my media skills was, in all honesty, to start a podcast on my own, which I decided to do, and I did it.
Congratulations. A lot of people wish they could do stuff, and they rarely put the foot forward to actually do it.
Yeah, that's a thing that stands out for me. I feel like is when I say I'm going to do something, I do it.
Good. I will keep you on it. And I'm sure somebody else would, seeing this video. They always do, don't they?
I could say that, yeah.
Someone will remember it, right? Okay. Okay, so we kind of covered your background and what you got you interested. And how did the TED Talk actually end up happening for you? I'm really curious about that.
Well, sure. So what happened is, believe it or not, my mother is a English teacher, and a couple people recommended me So the good news is I did get selected. We did it over, and we did it. But also some other eighth graders got to do it because my mother's a teacher, and they included her a little bit, or them a little bit, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And as someone with autism, and obviously I'm not in your shoes and you're not in mine, so in reality, there's nothing wrong with either one of us at all. But like from your perspective, what would you say there are some challenges as being an entrepreneur, doing the TED Talk, doing the podcast? What are some challenges that you are dealing with on this journey?
Compromising, I would say, is a big one. I'm not like a pushy person at the end of the day. I mean, I used to be once upon a time, but not anymore. But trying to, I don't, I mean, I work well with others, but it's a very limited amount of numbers. It's got to be at least under the number of three, one, two, or three. If it's four, we probably won't work well. But when also personalities clash as well, so and when you think you're hard headed, which I'll admit I kind of am at sometimes, so those are some big obstacles.
Mm-hmm. Could you give us a little bit, like maybe an example, just for people who don't really know how to work with someone like you? I would like to give them a better understanding in case they have someone in their company or someone that their business might actually touch the group of people. Would love to be able to help them out.
Yeah, let me think. Okay, I got one. So basically, there's some guests that my editor wanted to have, and I have said no. Wait for season two. I got better ideas. We'll do them. Just hold off on them. But she wanted to do them like now. I'm thinking we can't do guests all the time. So we finally, she finally, I think we finally had to end up come to Jesus talk and say basically you need to bite your lip sometimes because at the end of the day, I'm not trying to sound rude, but this is my podcast. If you run your podcast, by all means, do it your way. But if you're working for me, this is my podcast. It's my style. You want to do your podcast, your style? Hey, do it. But when you're working for me, it's my style. I'm open to ears. I'm not like pushing around. I'm like, nope, my way or the highway. I'm open to your suggestions, but at the end of the day, it is mine, period. We're not changing
Mm-hmm.
that.
Okay. All right. So just to make sure I understood what you're saying, is you felt in some ways that you weren't your idea or your way of being wasn't really taken seriously, so you were getting ideas from other people in a sense where they were not being understanding that this is that you have your own standing and this is your podcast and you would like to continue it in your own way rather than having so much influence from the outside.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad.
yeah. It's kind of like I think of it as like Gordon Ramsay once said this: "Your food, my standards." It's kind of like that. It says we can do it your way, but it's my standards.
Okay, your food, but my standards. I've never heard of that ever expressed that way. I think it takes me a moment to process that, you know?
It's from Gordon Ramsay. If you watch Hell's Kitchen or Kitchen Nightmares, basically, it's from him.
Yeah, I'm familiar with him. Okay, but I didn't hear the expression before. Okay, and I wanted to say that I'm glad that you are having pretty much similar issues that we over here are having that call each other normal. Because I think we also deal with similar stuff. We just don't see it and we don't think like that.
Yeah, I can agree with that statement. I mean, everyone is different. I mean, what I'm saying with the autism spectrum is society calls it a neurodevelopmental conditional disorder where you struggle with social cues and conversational skills. That's society's. But a but my definition is really just a different way of thinking, and that's the way it should be for every continent, country, state, period.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with you because our brains work different and there is things that you have a lot of strengths that I would probably not have, you know, and I'm speaking here as myself. I can't speak as anyone else. I can only speak for myself and for my experiences, and speaking to you and also doing a little bit of research, not major amount of research, but just a little bit of an idea of how the difference is, and it's mainly how the brain functions.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. And what would you say for you is the most rewarding part about what you do?
The most rewarding part is I get to help somebody. At the end of the day, this was never meant to be a business. I'll be honest with you, it was a hobby, but we had a family talk, and it just really grew into business. It was just the hobby at first, but the biggest reward for me is the getting to help somebody, because this is what that podcast was all about. Is the business side a nice part and a good luxury? Absolutely, I won't lie. But that's never been the goal. It's never been to make money. It's been to help somebody, period.
Mm. It's beautiful that you're saying like that. And I think those are the businesses that do very, very well when their intention is really to serve others. So thank you for demonstrating that for us.
You're welcome.
How did you feel about becoming your own boss?
Uh, it was kind of nice. I mean, for once, I get to be in charge of the adults, I guess, in a funny kind of way. But it was a good feeling. But I don't really consider myself a boss. Really, it's a more I call it of a leader. There's always, if you watch a video, boss versus leadership. That's why I'm trying to be the leader, not the boss.
Okay. I like how you said, you can for once and for once actually tell the adults what to do. I thought that was nice. They actually do need that sometimes, right?
Oh yeah, I would
Oh,
agree with that.
yeah. And how long have you been in business for?
Since October 2019, I can't remember the exact date, unfortunately, but I know the month and the year, so I think that's good enough. We'll put it that way.
Absolutely, that's good enough. I just wanted to have to give people an idea of how long you've been around because when I went to your website, you really have a great number of podcast interviews, and I loved it, and I love how you actually shared each one of them and share a little bit of their story. That was inspiring to me, and I got to learn something from you. So thank you for that as well.
You're welcome.
How and this is taking it another step back because I'm trying to flow with the conversation and my thoughts that are happening at the same time. How are you handling because I as somebody who's doing something similar and just starting out, there's a lot of pressure, and usually the pressure is comes from myself, but also sometimes I feel there's also a pressure from us because we are influencers. You're a podcaster, and whether you would like it, you do have certain influence on people. And how do you find yourself dealing with that? Are people kind to you, and do they respond in a kind manner, or like what is your experience?
Sometimes yes, most of the time yes, but you're not gonna get everyone to like you. I mean, it's pretty basic, but I've learned that it's gonna sound awful, but you cannot care about what people think about you. I mean, I do not care what a lot of people think about me. I mean, that includes my family. I mean, they're great parents and all that, but it's just that I do not care what they think of me, and I mean, I love them to death and all, but I just cannot, because if I do care, it's gonna hold me down, and I'd rather be risen up than held down. So personally, when I do not care, I feel so much better. It's like a pressure is relieved, because the day I learned that was the day I felt a lot much more happier than I once upon a time.
Okay, so what I'm getting from what you're saying is that you respect and love your parents very much and they're there for you, but you can't take things personal from what they say because then it affects how you're feeling and how your day goes every single day. So you're just like, okay, well, your opinion at the moment doesn't matter and I'm just gonna do me.
Bingo.
Bingo! That's right. And along the way, you did mention that you started this in high school, and now I'm assuming you're in college. I mean, you did mention it earlier, but for the listeners and the viewers.
Yes, I am in college right now. I just finished the second eight weeks. Well, didn't just finish. I'm getting close to the finish. I got like one more week, and then and then we're good and it's the holidays for me, then but it probably won't probably be the best holiday. I mean, I have to get my because I gotta get my wisdom teeth pulled out, and the good news ain't the top and ain't it's just the bottom. So Merry Christmas to me in a way.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
I know.
Merry Christmas to you. And I'm sorry that you're going through that experience, but most of us have to go through it, so you'll be fine. I'm sure everything will be good. I just hope that you don't have a lot of pain, that it's minimal.
Yeah, I know it's not like the Grinch and all, but yeah, I'm yeah I know it's not like the Grinch, but I'm trying to have the spirit of Santa in a way.
Okay. Will you dress up your teeth after they're pulled in Santa?
Well, I mean, I think they're
That
gonna
was
be
a bad joke.
I think they're gonna be like gold teeth. So in a way, I guess I could dress myself gold and paint my teeth gold. So don't give me just say don't give me any ideas.
Okay, that actually sounded really nice. So I'm actually curious if you're gonna keep that one up. If you do, send me a photo. I would love to see it.
Okay.
Okay, and do you mind repeating that one more time? I
Yeah,
couldn't hear
I said
you.
or paint it yellow, like I got like rotten teeth falling out. Well, that'd be a good April Fool's Day prank.
Yeah, this is sounding more like Halloween Santa
You're giving me ideas. So nice
or
job.
April Fool's Day. That's also a good one.
Yeah, you're giving me ideas. So nice job.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad at least my joke. I'm glad my joke is at least useful for something. um, okay, and then do you have support or community, family, like besides just having to work on yourself, just like every single person,
Oh yeah.
and going to school, having the experience in high school as a doing some podcasting. What is your supposed support system? And I ask most people this because I think it's beautiful to share, because a lot of us feel in the society that we live in, we feel like we have to do it all by ourselves.
Yeah.
We live in America. Individualism is really big. Independence. So what is your experience in that area?
Well, for me, I definitely have a big support system, but actually it's a single support system because it's only me included. But I always say that I'm definitely influenced by others, but the support system contains an army, and it's just an army of one person. That's me.
Okay, so if you have a problem or a challenge, or like, I don't know, you have an idea and you're like debating, should I go with this or should I go with that? Who would you go and talk to?
Oh, family.
Who would be your support in that sense?
Oh, definitely family and
Family.
family in
Okay.
a sense.
And
But I go down the list. I mean, if I think, okay, this is a problem for this family member or this friend, I'm gonna go talk to them because they know their stuff. They've probably been through this, and there's certain factors on who I go to.
absolutely, I agree with you on that. You gotta go to the people that are experts at what they do and ask them for advice or support. Okay, that's beautiful. Who would you say your ideal audience is for your work?
Well, anyone on the spectrum is for certain. Parents really who just got the diagnosis. It needs to be do- doctors because they need to stop treating it like a threat and really say like it's a gift. Instead of saying your son has autism, oh I'm so sorry. You should be like your son has autism. Yes, it may have challenges, but this guy is gonna probably do something big. It's just gotta figure out when, man. So you gotta really doctors need to make it good news instead of bad news. I'm not trying to like say doctors suck or anything. I mean they've helped us out along the way, but one
Hmm.
problem I've had is they treat it so bad like it's a death sentence, and that needs to like stop like immediately.
I think that we are taught in the society to be afraid or think of it in a negative way, when in reality it's just another form of doing things and thinking and being. So I appreciate that you are sharing it in the same light. And you are right, also, the doctors aren't necessarily bad. I think it's also what they're taught. And now that we are living in a world where we discover a lot more, we see that's not really the truth of it. It's just all created.
Yeah, whoever said autism means stupid is an idiot.
No, it doesn't, but I get what you mean. Yes. It's something we're in society are taught to fear and to not go
Right.
towards because we see it as a weakness. Okay. And you started your podcast right before a little bit before COVID, right? So I'm curious how has COVID influenced you? What were some challenges and some things that are actually like maybe innovations that it brought for
Well,
you
it didn't
during
affect the
this time?
business, so I will say it's more like a media virtual business. I'll definitely say that, but it definitely affected me as a person. I mean, it just got really to the point where it was really scary. I wasn't for sure if I was going to get the sickness. It was restricted, like the mask. I thought I'm not wearing a mask to a place. I mean, it took me a while to get used to that, but the big part was really the social distancing. I could not stay in the social distancing. I just could not. I think the big reason is I'd rather talk to you like normally humanly possible. Now I'm not going to stand 6 feet from you. That's not how we talk. I mean, if there are other ways we can talk telecommunically, we can or talk normally. There's no like mixed stay 6 feet where I can't touch you. That's not how I roll.
Wow. I get it. And that is tough, I think, for most people. We human beings need that human connection and touch and to hug someone and to, grab their hand and be close to them. Okay. And has your business grown during this time? Because it is
That
an
was the one part
online
that was kind
media
of
business.
beneficial. That's what kept me going through the tough times was the podcast because it definitely grew. I think part of the reason why I got some good guests was because of the pandemic. I think it was partially because of that. I don't think it was like fully because of it, but I think it was definitely a partial reason. I think the other reason was they wanted to be on, but partially I think was because of the pandemic and
Mm-hmm.
it canceled some celebrities' schedules, which kind of led to them more like leisure time. So I think I kind of took benefit of the leisure time that they were given. Yeah.
So you got to speak to
Yeah, like I
them.
talked to Temple
That's beautiful.
Grandin, James Durbin,
I'm glad
Mandy
that it
Harvey, and
benefited
many
you.
others.
Yeah, I listened to the Durban one. I listened to the whole thing. That it was beautiful, and
Yeah, but that was a
that was
long
a
time
recent one,
ago.
right, for
That
you?
was like 125. I think it was last year. He was one of the first like big guests. The other biggest guest I had was Temple Grandin, but James, yeah, he's a cool guy. He was one of my favorite guests I've had, not just because of the episode itself, but just because of him. I mean, we talked before, and he's a pretty good guy.
Yeah, he has done very well for himself, doing what he
Yeah, he's
loves.
definitely done a lot well for what he has, and he even became a father, which I don't want to say is a surprising factor, but it's definitely a sign that hey, you're doing great.
What do you see? What do you see yourself this? I mean, there's barely any left of 2021. What do you see yourself for 2020 and beyond? Like, what desires do you have? And also, just like without the desires, where do you see your plan for yourself and for the podcast
Well,
and
I would
just being an
say I always
entrepreneur?
tell people this: asking in 5 years and we talk again because the podcast is really one day at a time. In all honesty, but I always say that this could take me somewhere big. It could be a hobby again, go back to the business. I may be doing something else. Because right now I'm just trying to get through college and get the skills that I need for this because this is what I want to do in my life so far. But it's not certain until like I can pass. So because nothing in life is really certain, I just wait for the next day. So ask me in the 5 year span, and we'll talk again. Then the answer will probably be a little different.
Okay, all right. And what are you studying? I didn't ask you. What are you studying in college?
Well, now I'm taking general classes, but I'm going to transfer to a college which is an hour away from here, and it's for media and entrepreneurship, ma'am.
Okay. Good luck with that. I'm sure you'll do great because you already have the experience. A lot of people don't even go to college to do this.
Thank
And
you.
last but not,
Yeah, I'm just ahead of the game, I
yeah,
guess.
you are absolutely ahead of the game. Absolutely. And congratulations on that. I think you'll just ace it like that.
Thank you.
And I think the other thing that will happen for you in college, you probably will get a lot of ideas. You will take this to a completely new level. So I agree on talking to you in 5 years and seeing where you are then. And last but not least, I wanted to.
Yeah, but one of the ideas like we already got right now is being told with golden teeth.
Okay. um, what advice would you give to people wanting to start their own business and project?
Well, definitely, as for advice for starting a business, whatever idea you have, I say go for it, because although it may be a little repetitive, I think you can make your own twists with this certain business. So, in my opinion, make your own with this business of yours. I mean, yeah, it may be t-shirts, it may be a pants business. We got tons of those. But what can you make it different about it? What's different about these pants? Why should I go buy these pants instead of Wrangler jeans?
I have a very good point there. You making it unique to yourself, just like you're doing with the podcast.
Yeah, because I know there's other autism podcasts out there, but I know that there's not really the emotional side. It's only just doctors saying it. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not taking away from the doctors, but they can't understand why I got FIMS, which stands for foot and mouth syndrome.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I am not an expert at this, so I'm not gonna
That's
touch
basically
base
being
on
too
it.
blunt.
But thank you for sharing that. I did forget one question for you that I wanted to ask, and I think it's pretty obvious. But what would you say about your business is sustainable?
Is sustainable?
Mm-hmm. And I will explain myself. I define sustainability as a service or a product that really helps others, and it can literally help someone directly, because I can't really take of other people care of other people if I'm not first taking care of myself, and that creates a ripple effect. However, a service or a business service or a product can't assist or help people in different places. Some are focused on the environment, others are focused, like yours is, to bring awareness to autism. And someone could be a coach working directly with someone for them to deal with trauma or some situation in their life.
Well, okay, now I get where we're going. Yeah, well, first of all, I would definitely say part of the business is free, and everything's better free with the episodes, so that's one part for certain. However, the other part is I'm venturing out in other areas that are not the podcast. It's not just me in the basement sitting on the couch recording episodes. It's not that. It's a little different. It's me going out and explaining stuff. It's me going out and taking these certain adventures. It's me explaining something. You can take something from each part of this business.
Like, for example, and I could give an example, and you can correct me if you're wrong. One of the things that I could see is, for example, listening to the podcast that you had with Durban, what I could take from that is how he has turned something that we call or see as a weakness and actually made it into a strength. And he's doing well career-wise. He loves what he does. He's starting a family, and is a completely different example than what a lot of us are expecting in this world for the community.
I would agree with you. I think you just nailed it to a T, honestly, because that's exactly what part of this business really is trying to demonstrate. But also, it's also trying to show that there is a place for society and everybody, whether you're LGBTQ, bisexual, homeless, regardless of what it is, there's something for everyone to take from this.
Yes,
no matter what your character or identity looks like.
Absolutely. And if you find yourself in a challenging place and situation, it doesn't mean that you're doomed, you can't do it. It's just, and there's so many examples, and the stories that you share are real examples of how people have overcome their challenges and their difficulties in their life.
Right. I would agree with you on that 100%. I mean, all of us got them, and all of us have challenges, but there's no limitations to put on yourself if you believe that you can overcome the hoop.
Absolutely. Absolutely agree with you with that. And here you are, an example of that as well. So thank you. And I did want to ask you, what advice would you give to people who are, first of all, you're really young. So I think you can really give advice to those young people, but it's not age restricted. So what advice would you give to people who, and I know you already answered this, but what advice would you give to people who are young and inexperienced, yet they have some goal or dream for themselves?
Well, I guess something that I could take is this was from according to my grandfather. He was taught he was told this from my great, it's either great or great grandfather, and it was basically stand up straight and look proud. I would go with that's actually kind of resonate with me because although you may not look like proud and there's no shame of like holding it down. I think if you look proud and always up spirited, there's better endings than what a sad face could bring, I guess.
Yeah, that's why people say, which is very similar to what your grandpa was saying, is just smile at others, and you would be surprised how many people will return the smile back, and how much of a difference you would make to that person just seeing you smile.
I agree with that statement too.
Okay, and to wrap this up, one thing is I would like for you to share where can we find you, your podcasts, your businesses, where can people look for you, and I will also share that in the comments below.
So you can find me on your favorite media platform. If you think it's there, it's there, with the exception of Buzzsprout and Anchor. Buzzsprout I need to get on at some point, but Anchor, let's just say it. I'm not paying money to get on a platform. It was too much. That's all I'll say. But basically, if you think I'm there, I'm there. But my website is autismrocksandrolls.com, and you can find everything and anything on that website. We'll basically have everything on there that you need to know about me and the podcast itself. Oh, if I can, you can.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm doing that to just give a little bit more of an encouragement for people, because I feel like that phrase really has people connecting and noticing, oh, wow, like if this person can do it, I can do it as well.
No, I get it. Totally get it. It's just that mine is a little different because I just want to show people what may be complicated for you or what's simple for you may be complicated or vice versa.
Absolutely.
That's why I said I thought you were asking, like, say something like that. So that was on me. My bad.
Yeah, no worries at all. I get you, and you're right. Something might be simple for me and challenging for others, and it might be challenging for me, but simple for others. And with this said,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
would like to wrap this up. First, I want to thank you so much for the time and the energy and your advice and sharing your story, both with the challenges and the words, and being here and being vulnerable. Again, thank you, and I look forward to having another conversation with you just to see, where life took you.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, I'm going to do the gold teeth thing. I'm telling you that right now. And I'll be a man of word on that. So you'll definitely hear, you'll probably get a text with me in 2 months saying that, hey, here's the yellow teeth thing you wanted. Or
That
gold
is
teeth, one or
awesome.
the other.
Yeah, whichever one you decide, I'm really, really curious what you're gonna build out of it, because right now I have a bunch of ideas in my head, and I don't know you that well to know what you would go with.
Oh, it's even worse because I watched a show. Yeah, you'd be amazed. I watched a show once, and they were like sports fans, and I think it was Broncos. I think they painted their teeth blue and orange. I'm not even kidding when I say that.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm excited. I haven't seen this, and this is the first interview where I'm getting to share some idea that came out of a bad joke and have the person actually do it. Okay. So,
Well, don't worry. My family, we like to have fun and make nuts out of ourselves, so it's not the first time. Let's put it that way.
well, I'm glad that you got my joke and that you are taking it a step further. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Please subscribe. It's free, and you can always unsubscribe later. And I would also love to hear your comments,